guys, welcome back again from Tampa Bay. Another beautiful day, mid-80s today, low humidity, sunny, perfect riding weather. I have a lot to do today. I'm going out, not too far south, half an hour or so, to the Safety Harbor Spa and Resort. It's a beautiful, by far the biggest spa in the area, and it's more than just a spa, where they've got, all the normal massage and jacuzzi stuff and fitness stuff, blah, blah, blah. They also have a lot of ballrooms, and they have some events and stuff there. And I'm meeting one of my buddies who's setting up right now. I think he's doing a prom there tonight. It's Friday. He's setting up all his lighting and audio gear, obviously. And he has a new GoPro remote for me. I talked about that a little earlier. So instead of mailing it, he knew he was going to be in the area, and I said, that's cool. I'll come down and pick it up. Good excuse to ride the bike. Turns out, though, it's not a great day to be away from the office, but that's okay, because it's still for a good cause. If you don't keep up on websites and Google and all that kind of stuff, which I imagine the vast majority of people watching this don't, but I do websites. Google did a big change back on the 21st. Let's see, what's that? 2-3 days ago. I don't remember what the date is today. 23rd, 24th, something like that. Anyway, Google will periodically update their search algorithms, which basically means how well a website is ranked when you search for something. And obviously you want to be on page 1 and as high on page 1 as possible. And throughout the years, a lot of different things have given different results. Back in the day, for example, there were a lot of pretty shady tips and tricks that you could do, and a lot of people did do, to manipulate the search rankings. For example, back in the day, now I'm talking 8+ years ago, well, not that far, say 5+ years ago, the actual name of the website, the domain itself, like google.com, the word Google back in the day would count for something. So you had really obnoxiously long website names, and a lot of my vendor friends around here still have them because they've had them that long and been in business that long. So you'd want to put keywords in your domain name back then. For example, if you were a photographer in Tampa, a really good domain to have would be tampaphotography.com. Boom, there's two huge keywords right in your domain name. Well, that got out of hand pretty quickly, and Google stopped indexing domain name words a long time ago. And I still get some new clients when I do a site, and they're not aware of that. So, for example, I do a lot of websites for GPS tracking companies that sell the little devices to, track all kinds of stuff. People, vehicles, assets. So they're always thinking they want to set up a domain name for, best GPS tracker in Tampa.com. It's like, it's such a horrible idea. And even worse is I just had a client do this, and it pisses me off that they don't listen, especially when I know that they have no idea what they're talking about, but they are wasting hundreds and thousands of dollars a year for absolutely nothing by registering multiple domain names. Now again, this is something you could do before. You could register, wow, this is seriously brand new every time I come through here for the last couple weeks. They keep shifting the lanes around. So I just did this one client. She's a realtor, and she has, I don't know, 20 domain names, all forwarding to one, and they do absolutely nothing for her except cost her $20 per domain per year. That's just to renew the domain name. For nothing. They do absolutely nothing. Now, like I said, back in the day, you could do that and you could load up all these different domain names with keywords and Google would care, but they haven't in a long time. So it's just a complete waste of effort and money. But they don't listen. You know, I explained it to them. They think they're right. Okay, it's your money. You know, I don't care that much, really. Do what you want, but don't ask for my advice again, you know what I mean? So, man, what was I saying? I really feel like I'm losing it lately. I don't know if it's this blood sugar thing or what, but my short-term memory is seriously on the fritz. I will walk into the kitchen, think of something I have to do, and 20 seconds later, I can't remember what the heck it was. And it's been like that for a few days. And I'm writing stuff down on sticky notes at my desk, and I'll look down shortly thereafter and not even remember writing it down. Okay, train of thought. I was talking about domain names. You know what? I'm just going to take a pause here and try to remember what the heck I was talking about. Stand by. Oh yeah. Okay, I was talking about changes Google makes to their algorithm. Well, the other day, just a few days ago, they made a big change. And that's all geared around mobile viewing. Now, before there were a prevalence of phones and tablets, you just had one website. And it looked the same no matter what you were viewing it on. That's the way it was years ago. Well, now that we have mobile devices, there are multiple ways to get a website to look good on, for example, a small phone screen compared to a large desktop screen or a laptop. Now, the slightly older way of doing that was to have a separate site. And when you would go to a certain website, there would be a little switch that would detect what you're browsing on, and if it detected you're on a small device like a phone, it would direct you to a mobile specific site. And functionally that works just fine to a degree. Well, now we have such a variety of quote-unquote mobile devices. You have everything from, say, a small old iPhone like an iPhone 4 all the way through an iPhone 6 Plus. You're talking twice the screen size difference. And then you have multiple sizes of tablets, everything from a 5-inch all the way up to a 12-inch. And then you have Chromebooks, and then you have small laptops that sometimes will pull up mobile device websites all the way to bigger laptops. I mean, you have a huge variety of device sizes. So even separating it into two different websites no longer works. It's just not a great solution. So the current, which has been done for a good 2-3 years, solution is to make what's called a responsive website. And as the name implies, the website responds automatically on the fly to however you're viewing it. The other benefit to doing a responsive website is if you turn the device vertical or horizontal, it automatically shifts that way too. It's not just one site loaded and it is what it is. There's no zooming in, there's no scrolling around the screen with your finger to try to read something. Everything is perfectly legible no matter what. No matter what you're viewing it on, no matter what the position of your screen. It's always great. So Google said, you know what, unless you have one of these sites, we're going to ding you heavily in search results. So it is now, as of a couple days ago, very important to make sure that your website is fully mobile compliant. Now they have a website that you can check. You just put your website into this special search bar and it runs through everything and it runs checks and it lets you know if it finds any problems or if you're good to go. And they gave people a couple months heads up that this change was coming. But, you know, unless you were a web person, you didn't even know about it. It's nothing the public needs to know about. It's just anyone that's designing or maintaining websites. So I have, I don't know, about 35, maybe 40 websites under my belt that I do some maintenance for, that I've created over the last, say, 3 years. And all but 2 of them tested flying colors, no problems. You know, they're recent enough, they're all responsive, the software that I've used, I build on WordPress, all the plugins and the themes I'm using and all the custom code works just fine, except for these two. Now, one of them, it's not that bad. It's still responsive, it just doesn't quite look as slick, and it's one of the very oldest that I have. So it was completely expected. The software was just too old. It was before the stuff they want to see even existed. And then the other one is one of my old personal sites. It also happens to be one of my big ones, CigarObsession.com. And I knew that I would have to be completely redesigning this sometime. I was hoping to get a little bit more time out of it, but you know what? It's had a good run. It's over 6 years old. Now it hasn't sat static for 6 years. I have so much stuff on it, and it is such a pain in the butt to do anything with that I've had to customize it and upgrade it manually and do lots and lots of tweaks to it over those years. I've had, you know, for example, a plugin would get updated and it would break some major function, and I would have to do a lot of custom PHP code just to get it up and running again. I've had to do that multiple times. The whole thing was based on an old free template just because I liked the general layout. Now, this was back in the day before there were any fancy templates. You had to do everything yourself. And I heavily customized it, like I said, all the time over those years. So I knew that the day would come when I needed to completely redo it. Oh my God, it's going to be a huge headache. But that day is here. And it came in a two-part whammy. One, the update from Google, and it was a absolutely non-mobile friendly website. I mean, it had neither a mobile specific site or responsiveness. It was just you had to zoom in and scroll around the screen, old school website. But like I said, I kept it that way because it was just going to be such a pain in the butt. But the big thing was some larger updates just rolled through with the core software itself, and it was breaking some important functions. And there was just no way I'm going to go through the pain of doing more custom rewriting and bug fixing and compatibility writing. If I have to do that, I may as well just bring it all current and eliminate all these headaches for, you know, the next several years. So that's what I'm doing. I'm in the middle right now of redoing Cigar Obsession from the ground up. Oh my God. It's just as big a pain in the butt. Car show Saturday. I'm going to be at Leesburg Saturday. That would have been cool to go to too. Maybe I'll do it when I get home. Anyway, big pain in the butt, but it'll be worth it. I have it maybe a third of the way done. I worked on it for several hours last night. And I'm now at the point where I have the basics done, and I'm starting to I still have to do some custom coding just to make stuff work that I have on the site. No theme template, no canned software is going to do what I want to do with it. So that's where I'm at right now. Probably finish that up early next week. And obviously it'll keep my search rankings higher up there. Maybe it'll even improve it. Who knows? Some other interesting news. There's a rather large, well-known, long-time photographer in the area, and I've talked about this issue a while back when I just had suspicions, and, well, I knew, because I'm not an idiot, but I had official suspicions about what was going on. Long story short, if you missed that a while ago, I don't even remember what video it was. This guy, for over the last year, has been faking that he had cancer and not showing up to people's weddings. He's a photographer. not showing up to engagement sessions, taking thousands of dollars in payments and running away with it, not delivering photos, shooting a wedding and having nothing to deliver. I mean, time and time and time again. Dozens of clients. Why it took so long to really come to light is beyond me, but here's my theory. What happened recently, and we're talking a couple months ago, is somebody with a little bit of clout finally went to the news and they started doing a story on it, and they tried to get a little bit of attraction. It didn't really take off with the public. There were only a few clients that came forward to share their stories and everything. I know of, personally, dozens more, because the wedding industry is a small industry. It's just like the cigar industry. Everybody knows everything that's going on. And I have obviously a lot of vendor friends in the area, including wedding planners and other types of vendors that are affected because their clients are some of these clients that got screwed over. So they're hearing what's going on. I had people contacting me, asking if there's anything I could do, if I could get in touch with so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. So the news story ran, and right after that, he was acting like, and this is on Facebook, so it's all public, he was acting like, it's bullshit, and he didn't care, and here's what he's been doing all this time. He's playing the God card. Now, whether or not he believes all the bullshit he's been saying, that's beside the point. But by playing the God card, and by that I mean, oh, I've got cancer, Jesus this, Jesus that, God this, God that, I'm blah, blah, blah. Pulling on all these heartstrings and just making all the morons believe everything he said. That's the sad part, is that people believed it. And now, his Facebook is purged. Everything mentioning all the stuff he was saying, all the fake cancer stuff, everything about clients, everything he mentioned about missing an event or promising photos or that he's having somebody else shoot the wedding or, anything bad he said, everything is gone. He wiped his personal page clean for over the past year. Now there's just a bunch of old stuff up that's completely irrelevant. He deleted his business page, so all that is gone, at least for public view. And it turns out now he's under investigation by the Florida Attorney General for fraud. So all those morons that were supporting him and rallying every time he'd post one of those, oh, Jesus, get me through this cancer, and you'd have this flood of people believing anything he said on the post, and there'd be 100 posts, oh, I'm praying for you, blah, 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 and just suckers. Sucker after sucker. All those morons need to look at themselves in the mirror, take a good hard look, and think, wow, how am I so damn gullible? I got suckered in all that time. This dude is just completely full of crap. And he's probably going to be in jail, or at least heavily fined, very soon. Wow. I'm a dumbass for believing all that crap all this time instead of having a little common sense and listening to the people that said, bullshit. And it wasn't hard. There were so many obvious things in all his stories, in all his lies for the last year plus that it just astounds me there are that many gullible, stupid people in the world. They believe anything, especially when you throw that God card into the mix. But that's just the way the world is, especially in America. So he's screwed. Who knows if the clients that he screwed, I mean, we're talking easily 100, maybe 150 grand that he's stolen from clients that I know of. Because he's not cheap, or at least wasn't. I don't know if he's still booking clients. That's the other funny thing. Even through the interview, he was still booking clients that would believe him and feel sorry for him and not listen. His rates were averaging probably 8-10 grand a wedding. Because, like I said, he's been around. He's a big name in the Tampa area. And maybe that is part of what led people to not believe it. Like, nah, he wouldn't do that. I mean, that's impossible. He's too big. It'd be like, you know, McDonald's coming out that it's a pedophile place or something. I mean, you just don't believe it. It's too big. But it's true. It's just true. Alright, well, I got about another... Yeah, there was something else I wanted to talk about. I can't remember what. Hold on, let me think for a minute. Oh, I just remembered. This was something else interesting that happened just a few days ago. Now, I am normally pretty close to a computer at almost all times. Unless I'm on the bike or driving, I'm in touch with my email almost all the time. That's how I communicate with all my clients. And, you know, that's just how I work. I don't like text messages. Really don't like phone calls because I like things documented so I can go back and reference things and have any misunderstandings. So I love email. Always have it nearby. I don't use webmail. I use good email apps, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I'm at my computer the other day. I'm actually running out the door. The wife and I are going to dinner. And as soon as I see the subject, I'm like, oh, crap. That's not good. Because it was a login alert for one of my accounts. And it was a pretty big one. Yeah, like my master account. Like my account that controls everything, everywhere. And it wasn't me. I have alerts set up for pretty much everything like that. And this is exactly why. And this is the first time it's ever paid off. But it did pay off. As soon as that email came in, I didn't even have to read it. I saw the subject and I knew what it was. And I sat down and the wife's like, are you coming to dinner? Are you ready? She's at the door. I'm like, gotta work. Leave me alone. This is serious. So, long story short, somebody had literally hacked into my master account for my web host. And I'm using the word hack the way it's really supposed to be used. I don't mean somebody got my password. That's not hacking. Everyone says, oh, somebody hacked my Facebook account. No, they didn't. Your dumbass gave your password to somebody, or you logged into something that wasn't real and gave them your password. That's not hacking. Not at all. No, this was a legitimate, and I am 100% sure of it, a hack from the server side. And I'm also sure I'm not the only account that got compromised. I believe this happened on my host side. I don't think it has anything to do with me at all. And here's why. The account that was compromised and that was logged into has absolutely nothing to do with any of my domains. The username itself and the password is not used anywhere else for anything at any time. It is so isolated that the only time I even use it is on my office computer, and it's only when I'm doing pretty infrequent things such as creating a new database or an import-export for a client for doing a new website or something like that. That's it. I don't use webmail. I'm never into my cPanel for anything other than a quick little setup, maintenance, that kind of thing. Or once a month I go in to do a backup of the account. That's it. It's so not relevant to anything else that the actual username isn't even based on a current domain name. When I set up the account, they actually set it up with the wrong account, meaning the username itself. They based it off another domain. And that domain was never used because it was for a special project. I originally wanted the login to be based on my photography website, just because that's what I consistently was using back in the day. But they, like I said, set it up accidentally with this other, based on this other domain name. It's not even a word. It's not an abbreviation. It doesn't mean anything. The combination of letters for the username, it's not a word. It's not something you would ever guess. And like I said, it was never used because the project, the person I was working with, fell through completely within a couple weeks. So I was going to set up a website and do the project, but never did. So this just plain doesn't exist anywhere. I could see it if somebody had my username and they did some kind of brute force attack to guess the password. Even though the password isn't in the dictionary either. Anything can be guessed given enough time. All right, I think it's extremely unlikely that would ever happen in this case, but it's possible at least. I do not think it's possible to randomly guess the username and randomly guess the password. The combinations, I mean, come on, you're talking supercomputer power to do something like that. So the first thing I do, obviously, is change all my passwords everywhere, which took me a few minutes, but it happened right after I got the notification. I didn't even see any files being accessed. I got it in time. First thing I did is log whoever it was off, change that login password. Then I went through, changed all my other login passwords, my database passwords, I mean everything, which sucked. I normally do it periodically, but not all at once. So that took me about 10 minutes. The second thing I do is I contact the host administrator, let them know what's going on. They do a little investigation, and they're trying to say, oh, well, it must be on your end. Maybe you let somebody else log in. No, I'm not letting anyone log in from England. You know, not even close, dude. I'm in Florida. And then they try to say, oh, well, you know, maybe somebody hacked into your computer. Nope. My office computer, number one, is kept squeaky clean. Number two, I did a sweep of that. That was the thing I did immediately after changing up my passwords, is while I'm talking to them, I'm doing a full sweep with every malware and antivirus tool that I've ever used. Nothing. I mean, nothing. Not even a hint of anything wrong. And I can tell when there's something wrong anyway. No, squeaky clean. Well, then they're like, oh, well, you must have logged into a public hotspot and somebody keylogged you. And no. Number one, I hate hotspots. Number two, I don't go anywhere. I work from home. Number three, I can't even remember the last time I logged into a hotspot. It was probably an airport, but it's been a long time. And even if I did, I'm not on my cPanel. I'm surfing the web, killing time. That's it. I'm not dumb enough to log into something like that over a insecure Wi-Fi. So I really think this was simply a case of them having a breach on the server or their database of client information, and somebody got in. Of course, they're never, ever going to admit that. Even if they find out that that's the case, there's no way they're going to admit that. They're just going to stay silent. And of course, they've said nothing. So that was interesting. Anyway, here we are in Safety Harbor. It's actually a beautiful little town. They've had a lot of building go up right at this intersection coming up at the end of the road. Some larger buildings went up over the past few years. It used to be all this kind of stuff, just single story. Got the Mason's Lodge there. Mom and pop shops all over the place. Really nice area. This is actually almost identical to where I grew up, Plymouth, Michigan. At least back in the day it was. It's been heavily built up since I was there. But they have some festivals here now and then, and I used to do an art show when I did large format printing, and my photographs, I'd sell them in the park here, right here on the left. And then you have the spa and resort, which is straight ahead. I do not have a stop sign. These buildings you see here, these tall ones, are brand new. They knocked down the small stuff to build this. They wanted to knock down the spa, which I thought was absolutely crazy, because it's the number one draw in this area, period. Well, like I said, they do a lot of different stuff here. To the right is a really beautiful 2-lane road that goes along the Tampa Bay, the old Tampa Bay. And then to the left, not down this road, but the other one there, goes down another nice 2-lane road, ends at Curlew, and there's a really nice park down there. Just need to find a spot. This is something they greatly improved. All of this parking you see here that's for the spa used to be dirt. Yeah, this looks pretty good. So let's go find my buddy. All right, well, I'm here. Here's the ballroom. They're going to be setting up, and I just called him. Lucky I didn't get here at 1, because, yeah, not here yet. They forgot it. Oh, there he is now. Oh, I can't zoom the front camera. So yeah, rode up here for nothing. Oh well. Let's go say hi.
What you doing?
Hey! How you doing?
It's a cool room for a prom.
Huh?
It's a cool room for a prom.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, well, wasted trip as far as the mission, but still a beautiful day to take a bike ride. And I get to show you some more new stuff. Oh, something else that's interesting happened yesterday. You know, I talked about before how now that my blood sugar is under control, from the mid 300s down to just over 100, about a month ago my vision changed back to the way it was 4 years ago. And I'm on these glasses I'm wearing right now that are a few years old. And I went yesterday for a new eye exam because I don't like riding with these particular glasses. The lenses themselves are a little scratched up because, you know, they're old. Got new ones for a reason. But more importantly, the frames are larger than the ones I've been wearing more recently. So I wanted to get another updated pair with my current prescription. So I go in, tell the doctor the whole spiel. He's like, yeah, I've seen that happen before, but usually the other way. He says, usually it's me figuring out for people that they have diabetes, because from the time they come in for the appointment to the time they pick up glasses, their vision has changed. So it's usually going the other way, and that's that. So he did a full exam, of course, and everything looked good. He said that, you know, it's recent enough, the diabetes is recent enough where it hasn't damaged my retina at all. He didn't see any abnormalities. And, you know, he's like, hey, are you sure that your vision is stabilized now, so you want to get this prescription? I said, yeah, I've given it a solid month from the time it changed, and it changed overnight. It wasn't like it took a couple weeks or anything like that. So I'm very confident it's not moving at all from where it is right now. He's like, okay. So checks me out, and it turns out that my prescription is exactly what it was. These lenses are exactly right, and that's obviously why I've got perfect vision. I thought I did. You know, I just wanted to make sure. If it's off just slightly, I'd rather have the new prescription, but everything was fine. So I wouldn't say it's a waste of money at all. It's peace of mind, and I wanted to know that my retinas weren't damaged. So it was $60 well spent on the exam. And I've already ordered the new glasses. They'll take a couple weeks to get here. It takes about a week to get them produced, and then a week to have them shipped. I'm not in any big rush because I've got these glasses. Didn't feel like overnighting them or paying for rush processing or anything like that. So that'll be cool. Now I'll have 3 sets of the frames I like, and 1 pair of correct lenses. So I've got spare parts. And once again, I go through iBuy Direct, EYEBUY Direct.com. Absolutely awesome deals. I got, again, this full set, and Google for discount codes. Turns out the discount code that I put in my last video for it is no longer valid. You know, it's a couple years old, and they've stopped doing that particular discount program. They've got a new one set up that works a totally different way. So just Google for iBuyDirect code and you can find 15% off codes all over the place that work. So I got the pair of glasses and fully loaded, you know, polycarbonate, UV protection, scratch protection, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff on the lenses for $44 shipped. And like I said, it takes about 2 weeks. You can upgrade the speed if you want beyond that. I'll take you through Felipe Park here. It's a nice little park on Old Tampa Bay. Got a little boat ramp and a lot of pavilion areas. You can rent these out at picnics. I've done a couple small events here, and I've come down here just for fun back because I used to live about 2 miles down the street. So I'd come down here to actually fly my RC stuff. I had a little plane, and this was before the days of quadcopters. I had a little plane, and there's a big clearing in this park that worked out pretty well for that. And I actually destroyed my last helicopter here. I never did buy another one. That was the last one I had. I've gone quadcopter since then. So here's the little one ramp, boat ramp. This is a tip of what's called Old Tampa Bay. You can see it's not that far across, and it does go out fully down to Tampa Bay. That bridge in the far, far distance in the center there is the new one they built that goes across the Courtney Campbell Causeway, connecting Pinellas to Tampa. That's how you go to the airport. That's what I've gone over in some of my other videos. So this part of the water really isn't used for anything. There are apartments and condos and houses on the shore and everything like that. But that's it. There's no commerce or anything. There are no ships that come through here anymore. That's on the other side of that bridge now in now it's called Tampa Bay. That actually goes over to Tampa. This one here is all Pinellas. So this park here goes along the water for quite a stretch, almost all the way down to the spa that I was at. And there are footpaths that you can take beyond the roads here to actually walk all along the water. And they've got really nice jogging and biking trails that go all the way down to that bridge, all the way down to 60. And if I lived around here, that would be just fantastic to rollerblade on or ride your bike on. My buddy Dave Blanco, he lives right here in Safety Harbor, just down the street from the spa, and he does take advantage of all the trails. He also has the Pinellas Trail that's fairly close, which is about a 34-mile, I believe, paved bike trail that goes the whole length of Pinellas County. I rode about 20 miles of it with him once on one of my HLO videos. That's really nice, but it's nowhere near where I live. I mean, I have to load the bike up into the car just to get to the start of it, or the top of it. They got a lot of children's play areas and a lot of nice little park pavilions here, like I said, and the grass goes right down to the water. Woo! Those are rough bumps. And this is just a winding road that ends in a little roundabout, just more pavilions down in there. Obviously beautiful, beautiful views. The oaks make canopies everywhere. Lots of shade. Oh man, it's nice and cool here. It's 91 degrees, but it feels so much cooler without that sun. It's hot, man. Here we are in late April and summer is here. This is really as bad as it gets around here near the water. Mid-90s is our average summer temp, so I can deal with that. Lots of spaces in here, just relax. I don't remember if pets are welcome here or not. I want to say there's at least one area where they are. I got something in my eye. It's the only disadvantage of riding with the visor up. But I'll tell you, when you're not moving, like that whole time I was coming down here with the visor, or with the windscreen up, holy monkey, I was getting hot because I have no airflow to my helmet with it up. I was sweating on my head when I got to that spa. Little squirrel. Guy doing exercise. Road goes right up to the water here. Now we should see the footpath at the end of this road. It's been a pretty long time since I was down here. Whew, something stinky. Smells like a sewer treatment plant or something. Now there is one kind of near here, but it's a ways away. It's down by that bridge. I don't think the wind would be carrying it. It's probably just some garbage or something. A lot of mangroves down here. There's water right here on the right side of the road, about 3 feet down. I think you can probably see the channel for the water. And that's for kayaks. People have carved that out. It looks pretty hairy right now. It's a little overgrown, but people will go through with cutters and machetes and make their little path. There's a lot of kayaking trails through here that are just like that, just going through the mangroves. That's exactly what I was talking about the other week, where we went jet skiing through mangrove trails. That's it. Let me stop so you can kind of see. Right in between there. That's what we were jet skiing through. Very shallow. I mean, jet ski only. You can't take a boat. But that's what people cut out to make mazes. Really fun. So here's a boardwalk that continues on through. Map of all the county parks in this area. And we flip on back around. This is a really nice area of the county especially. It's quiet. There's no traffic because there's no major roads going through here. That one I was on when I turned in here is it. So it's all residential. There's no after work traffic because it doesn't cut through to anything. It's not faster to cut through here to go down to 60. The majority of people that are coming through here are either going to the spa, going to the big marina that's next to the spa, or they live here. Or they're tourists and they're just hanging out for the day. This is really about as busy as this park ever gets. It's plenty of room. I think there's 15 pavilions. Just a ton of room. I just love the way it looks. Like I said, I've done a few shoots here. Did one engagement shoot, at least one family shoot. I remember doing a kid. I think it was a high school or modeling. I don't remember. It's been a while. But obviously lots of nice shaded areas to do all kinds of stuff with. Nice backdrops. A lot of areas to walk and kind of hike through it. It's all very well manicured, obviously. I just love tree canopies. I think they look so cool. Especially these. They're covered in vines, a little bit of moss. The hanging stuff you see is called Spanish moss. It's not really moss. Love the way it looks. Those are really big speed bumps. I never launched our jet skis from here. Back when we lived around here, we were actually in one of the apartments on the shore, and they had, I took you through there in a previous video too, they had a really nice boat ramp and storage facility right there, so we had our own. The other place that's real popular to launch around here is on Lake Tarpon, which is a freshwater lake, and it's fairly large. I mean, it's about as big as what you see here. And you don't have to deal with the, quite frankly, pain in the ass of riding in salt water. It does degrade things. It does need a lot more maintenance and cleaning every time you ride in it. With fresh water, you can just hose it off real quick, give it a quick flush, and be done with it. Salt water, You got to use some salt away. You got to really wash things off. It's more work. Alright, so there you go, guys. There's your little park tour. I am off back home without my remote. Wah. But he said he'd mail it to me. I'll just have to remind him again, because he was supposed to mail it last weekend, but he forgot. And Wednesday he's like, oh, sorry, I forgot, but I'll bring it with me Friday. I'm like, okay. One of these days I'll get it. But no big deal. It's just a convenience thing. Obviously it doesn't impede me making videos at all. Just means I have to go on faith or keep looking in the mirror here that I'm still recording. Yep, looks like I am. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the site, TwoWheelObsession.com, and we'll see you next time.